I am so fucking excited to go on a date with you.
Me too. I've been waiting. I was afraid you were going to ghost me for a second.
Really?
Yeah.
Ghost you? I bet that never happened to you.
It's Berlin, babe.
You've been ghosted?
I've been ghosted. But I feel like I've also ghosted. So I think it's like the circle of karma. But it's not always intentional. But I'm glad we could make this happen.
I am so glad.
Yeah.
I feel like you're this artistic, creative genius, and everything you do is flying.
Is flying?
Yeah.
Yeah, up and down. It's definitely flying. Thank you. It means a lot. I think Berlin has given me the opportunity to explore the multifacets of my personality and grow kind of with my queerness and with my community, and everything is really fun.
How long have you been here now?
I've been here for almost 6 years, I guess.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And you're a photographer, like not just a photographer, like really, can you say high-end photographer? If so, I would say that you are.
If I'm a photographer?
You are like a high-end photographer. Can one say that? It's
I
like high-end fashion.
High-end grunge.
High-end grunge.
High-end DIY.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take that.
But you're like nailing it, and then I feel that when I saw your DJ set the first time, I was like, what the fuck? Then we had already been doing the photo interview.
Oh yes, yes.
But I was like, I did not expect you to be good at so many things. So I was like, really shocked. I was like, fuck, this is so good. And I couldn't leave the dance floor. It was really, really fun.
Amazing.
It was vibing. People were, when you were standing in the line at the toilet, people were like, this is so fucking good. Like people were, I heard it all over, and it was at Lunchbox, obviously.
Lunchbox Candy.
So fucking welcome. No, so fucking thankful that some place like that also came to Berlin. It feels like we've been waiting for this like steamy, sexy, also warm and like romantic club.
Yeah, I love hearing everyone's interpretation of Lunchbox Candy, because we had a dream to make it one thing, and I never really thought that I would be feeling like a parent or having a child, but I feel like I can imagine if you have a child and then it starts to grow up and have a mind of its own, and I'm like, it's walking, it's talking, it's stealing things from you, it's puking all over you. It's like you have this immense love for something that you have no expectations over, and just channel love and care and everything that maybe you didn't have growing up. I think that's what as a parent, that's what I would want to do, Be like, little thing, this is the world, and you're gonna have every opportunity you can. And I feel the same with Lunchbox Candy.
It's really funny that you said like people ghost people in Berlin. It's something that has been like a topic for so long on social media, where you're like, oh, it's like it's as hard as finding a partner in Berlin and all these stuff. It's like a typical. But speaking of Lunchbox, I feel like that's like the perfect place to find a hookup.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
people are hooking up all the time there.
The love room is a thing. It's amazing as well. I personally haven't had many sexual experiences at Lunchbox, mainly because I'm running around like crazy and playing and hosting, but also to present a sex-positive party that penetrates more than your sex organs. I feel like Lunchbox is a place to go and get completely penetrated, but you're penetrating the mind, you're penetrating the heart, you're penetrating the soul. And sure, if you want to get sucked off in the corner, like, you're welcome. There's a love room, and there's also fisting and sex-positive performance art, and a space for all bodies that I hope is welcoming,
It's very welcoming, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Do you, I mean, of course you do, but I still want to hear it from you.
What?
A lot of people like flirt with you there, especially there, or would you say that people flirt with you a lot in Berlin?
Flirt with me a lot in Berlin? I mean, maybe at Lunchbox. I feel like I'm so pro Lunchbox that I mean, this is a true story. Like I was at Hassenheide having a little summer cruise at one point, and I kind of encountered this little threesome, foursome, and so I, you know, when you're cruising, you're not really saying too much, and then I started to have this sexual interaction where, you know, everything was in everyone's mouths and whatnot. I won't go into graphic detail, but basically, I kind of finished and disengaged, and the first thing I said was, okay, so see you all on Saturday at Lunchbox Candy, like just shameless Hassenheide promotion. And then like, one of them's just like, Lunchbox Candy? You're the person from Lunchbox Candy? And then like a guy on his knees is like, Lunchbox Candy? Oh my God, I love Lunchbox Candy. And, you know, and it was just like the first interaction we had, and it was the most perfect, surreal Berlin experience to have people getting penetrated in Hassenheide while having a conversation with me with the first words we've said at Lunchbox Candy.
I feel like you have to recreate this as a promotional piece for the, like, that's...
It's really in the world of the obscurity of Lunchbox Candy. But at the same time, it's a place where all my lovers kind of are. I mean, like it's so participatory. I feel like, in a sense, everybody there is a lover of each other. And I mean, it is Berlin, so, you know, we probably have all encountered each other at some point. But I'm a flirty person as well, and I get a little bit overwhelmed sometimes, just at the rapidness of Lunchbox, you know, because
it's a lot going on.
It's a sensory overload, and I have this kind of control freak mentality where I'm like, this has to be this, and like if something's not going right or someone feels off, like there's so many moving parts, and the point is for it to feel immersive, and I don't know, it feels like a little bit of a disservice to even call it like a party or a rave, because at this point, through everybody that we've welcomed into the collective, they've leveled up the way that we can make a nightlife platform an immersive experience, and like with the rave theatre or the performance arts, or just beautiful Scotty Bunny looking after the ravers. Shout out to Scotty Bunny. Iconic. You know, just it's a playground. It's an absolute playground for the inner child. And what's beautiful is it's for the children, but I can see beautiful, fresh, oh my God, I sound predatory. Like beautiful young queers. Ooh, like, no.
You're pretty young too, though. It's fine.
Yeah, sure. But
blushing, how cute.
I'm blushing. I'm blushing in my Ed Hardy. No, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, young people, I don't even want to say old. It's just the age spectrum is crazy.
Exactly. Because I would not say it's young.
This is my point. Thank you.
It's definitely not that you're coming into a club and you're like, whoa, everyone's young here.
No.
Because in Berlin, the ages are a little bit higher up than many other cities.
We love. And I hope,
it's the same as at Lunchbox. Like, it's very colorful and very like warm and hugging, I would say. But it's definitely neither young or old, but it's definitely...
It's a clash. It's a beautiful mess. It's an absolute beautiful mess. And there are subcultures and parties where you can go and you feel like, okay, these are a people. It's an army of muscle gay harnesses, and there's testosterone, and it's men, and it's like, cool, wow, this is a sight, but like maybe I feel displaced, or this isn't for me, or this isn't for a femme body, or, you know, I'm like, kind of, you have your fun. But Lunchbox is a coming together, a unison in difference, in a way. And I think that's what queerness is celebrating individuality. And within the history of nightlife, within the gay community, we needed to find spaces that we felt safe, you know? But at the same time...
Also, bumping in, you are from like a small island outside of what city?
Yeah.
Is it outside of Melbourne?
The butt of Australia, south end, like it's called Tasmania. Big island, small town, small minds in the 90s. Now it's kind of zeitgeist and cool and trendy, and there's a lot of amazing art, and I'm like, wow, I wish I was there for that. But growing up there, I was like, get me the F out. Yeah, so I was dancing like a mad person growing up. Like every night of the week I would have ballet, jazz, musical theatre.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I really loved it. And to the point where it would like filter into I went to a Catholic school. So we would be going to church, and like my family were not religious at all.
Interesting. Like a boy in ballet going to a Catholic school.
Suit, tie, like knitted jumper, grey pants.
It's doomed to feel like an outsider.
For sure. The only time I felt at home was like looking at the altar boys and being like, girl, I love your dress. Maybe that's for me, I don't know, but like maybe that's the biggest problem with the Catholic religion. Let's not get into that. No. But I was actively dancing and trying to incorporate my performance. I was outgoing, I was eccentric, I was a weirdo. And a lot of the time it helped me build community and confidence, but of course growing up and being a teenager, it came with its bullying or...
Oh, fuck yeah.
Of course, you know, like, but I think I'm appreciative of the friends that I had, the girlfriends mostly, you know. And I was crazy. I was a crazy teenager. The more I think about it, the more I really feel sorry for my mum. Shout out, mum, thank you. But at this Catholic school, like I didn't love school. And for my English assignment, I said to my mum, I want to quit school at 16. I want to move to Melbourne. I want to be a dancer. And she said, okay, get good grades, and if you can pay for yourself to go, then off you go. So it was my last English exam in year 10. I was 16, and we had to choose a book, write an essay on something in English, and then have 2 other elements to submit. And I convinced my teacher to let me do Rent, the musical, because I knew it off by heart and I didn't want to read anything. And so I wrote an essay on Jonathan Larson, who's a big inspiration for me at the time, about this like bohemian life in New York City, these artists, these trans people, these queer people. That was my first look into an alternative life, you know? Also, I don't want to show my age, but it was kind of like pre-iPhone, pre-internet.
Yeah.
I was like a dial-up internet, kind of like, get off the phone. And for my other 2 submissions, I did set design for my school theatre.
This is what I mean. You're not even speaking about your musical side yet, but like...
No. And I performed a monologue called Over the Moon, which is about like a cow jumping over the moon, performed by a female person, where I had to get the school to moo with me, like moo with me, like moo.
Oh my
moo.
God, iconic. Can we do that?
Moo with me, people, moo, moo.
When did your musical journey start then? Like when did you start DJing?
So I was living in Tokyo, and...
You were living in Tokyo suddenly? Suddenly you
fast
went
forward to Tokyo. I first moved to Tokyo to work for Tokyo Disney as a dancer, which was insanely strange, just because of fanatic culture in Japan and Disney fanatic culture fused together. When I didn't grow up with it, I was like, the fans were crazy. I was like Prince Charming, but also Captain Hook and Frollo, and all these crazy characters in this production show. But afterwards, I went there freelance, and I wanted to throw a party series for some reason. I was 20 years old. I was dating this beautiful guy, Diego. He was this like half Brazilian, Japanese model, skater boy, and he was a DJ.
Wow,
and I was like,
amazing.
wow, yeah, amazing. Toxic, but amazing.
But so hot.
I know, I'm a better person for it, but very hot, yeah. And I said, I want to do a party. I'm going to call it fucking Friday, and it's going to be my 21st birthday, but I don't want it to be about my birthday, but I want you to teach me how to DJ. So I learned on these CDJ 200s, CDs, of course, and he taught me how to DJ, and then that was my first live gig. It was my 21st birthday, Tokyo, insane party.
Wow. All right. And then you went to Berlin. How come?
almost. I mean, I was in Tokyo for 3 years, and that's where DJ started to pick up, and I was going to Seoul in Hong Kong. I was like 21, 22, also modeling. And then I moved to New York with an ex-boyfriend and continued DJing a little bit there, but I would DJ at different parties now, but back then it was awesome because I was working with Eric Conrad or Suzanne Barsh on these very club kid hosty parties. And the nostalgia of New York was always something that pulsated in me from Rent or Just Kids by Patti Smith and that whole story of Robert Mapplethorpe. I'm like fucking obsessed with romanticism
same.
and
Oh
that era of New York City.
How many times did you read it?
I've read it like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
I've like gifted it to my partner right now and been like, please read. You'll understand me a lot better. Yes, so if you haven't read it yet, you better read it.
All right. All right.
Okay.
In this romanticism, you saying your partner, blah, blah, blah. Are you a person who's going on a lot of dates in Berlin, or are you more so a club hookupper person?
I'm really not a club hookupper.
No?
I'm a club groovy dance floor goddess that's with the friends, I love the idea of the eyes across the dance floor and the moves and the body language and then kind of like coming to each other and having a kiss. And if that happens, then like I'm so here for it. But I've never really had so much success at picking up at the club.
Really? That surprises me.
I don't know, it's not really my intention to go.
No.
Like a little darkroom action, sure, but it's kind of like, see you never, you know,
yeah.
like...
It's not the we are gonna be together forever kind of vibe.
I mean, I'm not looking for love in the dark room, that's for sure. If anyone is, then girl, turn around and leave. And yeah, see a therapist. But I don't know,
But you're a romantic person.
I'm an extremely romantic person, yes. I love the nuances of passion and discovering somebody and doing little gestures and being thoughtful and being crazy. I'm a crazy person. Love makes me crazy. And I love that because love is something bigger than us. It's something we can't control. And we fight so much to control so many elements of our lives that I feel like surrendering to something that you can't control and letting it kind of knock you about is a choice.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm here for it.
No,
Yeah.
completely. Can you fall in love with multiple people at once? Or are you one person at a time kind of person?
When it comes to an intense love and a connection, I have a lot to give, but I feel like I can only have one key romantic partner, personally. When it comes to dating, sex, there's so much of other people that I love to lean into, like, and express different sides of myself, be it sexual, be it intimate. Are you a hugger? Are you gonna just fuck my brains out? Or are we going to like sit and cry and read poetry to each other? Like finding that all in one person is a big ask. But I've thought about this a lot because I like to think I'm quite progressive and sex positive. But polyamory, for example, I'm like, I ain't got the time, babe. You know, I'm busy. I've got the love, but like I'd rather like, yeah, you're welcome to the person that gets that.
Yeah.
My body, my mind, my creativity, my interaction is to be shared. And like, let's go, let's share what we have to give. But I don't really have it would throw me a little bit too much in my monkey mind, in my creative chaos, that I'd be having to manage 2 or 3 intense romantic relationships.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I am so with you there. I feel it's already hard to like manage with family and friends and new interesting connections you want to like discover and all these things, and being like a person who's available somehow.
Like presenting as available.
I'm not a very available person, I think, because I have very much boundaries, and I'm very much like protective of my own space, in the sense that I need to this is where the more so in like not social anxiety, I wouldn't say, but I am protective of life, that I need to digest impressions, kind of.
Caution, boundaries,
Yeah.
self-awareness.
Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah. But I need a little push to have fun.
Oh, come with me, babe. I'll push you.
I'm saved. Thank
Are you? Yeah, you've got to be a bit bold and a bit crazy to really jump in the deep end, I think, sometimes. But yeah, I think the thing about dating in Berlin is people come here a lot as kind of, I'm talking also about the expat queer club Neukuni community. You know, I can't speak for Greater Berlin. But I think a lot of people come here in our scene seeking something more, an alternative, an unlearning, and that comes with a lot of confusion, a lot of excitement for exploration. And I think the removal of shame around a lot of things like sex, hedonism, drugs, partying, and also...
And what is expected from being a responsible adult?
Exactly.
Because
and the age thing, like, oh, come on, get your shit together, you're 35. Like, yeah, exactly. So, and so that really, like, this is what the essence of Berlin is about. It's about the point of view. I think that's what people are attracted to, because let's be honest, it ain't pretty, it ain't beachy, like there's not a lot going on except for this vibe, you know? And it feels a bit lame saying like, you know, it's a vibe, but it's a point of view, it's a state of mind, you know? And also the queer community is really at the driving force of that, I think, you know, because a lot of what's celebrated comes from the queer community in terms of the nightlife landscape, at least.
For sure, and you,
I mean, happy to be a tiny part of it, honestly, but it's malleable. It's not so rigid now like London and New York, where it's very capitalistic. It's these cities are still riding on the coattails of a bygone era. You know, they built their brand on artists like us, and now they're capitalizing on it. And the artists themselves that really made those places special, and the frameworks in which they operated in are completely inaccessible, unaffordable. But Berlin, I feel like, still is holding on to a little bit of this like edge and anarchy and free thinking. And honestly, I thought it was the natural progression of the world, but with what's going on, you know, I'm constantly reminded that, wow, actually the bubble we live in is so special and something to be nurtured. And one thing I want to say before is we tend to be hypercritical in this nightlife scene, in this community, and as queer people. We have big expectations, we have big needs, we're vulnerable and we participate. But I think you've got to sometimes zoom out or just leave and experience club culture or the queer scene in other cities and really be thankful and grateful and have gratitude for what we have here before we start to tear each other down. This isn't this enough, this isn't that enough, that door. You know, we start to pick at hairs and straws when actually, like, it's so much work putting on these events and people are putting their neck out there, and it's certainly not a moneymaker. It's a community gift, and when we start to tear each other apart, I think we need to say, whoa, take a breath. Yes, let's be critical and constructive, but zoom out and let's also like join hands and breathe for a second and be like, wow, we're very lucky to live and interact in this community sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Check yourself.
So
before
how
you wreck
did
yourself.
Lunchbox Candy even start? Because how many people are you involved? Like, it's a community.
It's a community.
It's like lights. It's performers. It's musicians.
It's the full fantasy all
It is.
before your eyes, but all in this grungy, like, club environment. It's so, it costs a lot of money to look that cheap. Let me just tell you that. But it was a labor of love, and it was birthed by a really dear friend of mine, Stefanos. El Nino Diablo is his artist name. And we connected through heartbreak, actually, just going through our own journeys. Had a wine. He was an electronic music producer. I was a filmmaker just getting started. We shared music, and then we ended up making, now 5 films together, or music videos.
Wow.
The first 3 of them happened kind of at the back end of COVID, so with restrictions and isolation and things like that. So we never had a rap party. And a lot of these are so community driven. There were people giving up their time, creativity to make these happen. And we wanted to have a thank you. And Stefanos always dreamed of starting a club night and I coming from a brief history in Tokyo doing it, you know, we really came together with like, let's do this as a wrap party and let's launch Lunchbox Candy. And yeah, it was a private event on a Monday night. Guest list
was
only.
Was the same location or some
Eden,
places?
at Eden,
really?
yeah.
On a Monday night.
Open bar.
Open bar?
Free ecstasy.
What? 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, things have changed, babe. That was not sustainable. But it was a
fun.
gift. Oh, it was fun. It was so much fun that like we all kind of looked at each other and be like, holy shit, I think this is something that we should continue.
The people who were at that party, do they go every party still?
The people that were at that party received this plastic card, and I'm not sure if it's that party or the first public party, but we made these lunchbox cards that at the time we gave people on entrance and we said, this card will get you in Skip the Line free for the rest of your life. Basically, this is a membership card to really nurture the whole... I don't regret it at all.
Okay,
I think a few hundred people do for losing it. But,
they lost it.
Well, I don't know. We were just like this little kind of collective party and like, here's a cute thing, and maybe people use it to like make their lines, or I don't know what else you use with plastic card for. It certainly wasn't a bank card, but yes, and sure, there are those few people that were there at the very beginning, 2 years on, that rock up to the door and they flash the card and the door staff are like, you know, like, come in, and you know, it's...
Amazing.
I think what was really important for us, and as we grow, it still remains a priority, is to nurture the core community that were there from the beginning. You know, there's a certain amount of loyalty that is really warranted when you're growing a community. So as the lines get bigger and the party gets crazier, we just really want to make sure that we're not leaving anyone behind who were part of our journey from the beginning.
Cheers, babe.
Cheers.
I love this.
This is so much fun.
Thank you so
Thank you.
so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Like, really, you're
Really
so
lovely.
fun. It was so fun, right? Yeah.